Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so Daryl Morey, GM of the Philadelphia 76ers, has rumors floating around about, his willingness to trade Ben Simmons or lack thereof. And, I've been hearing, as you normally would, various rumors that are floating about. And, I bring the ones to you that sound like they come from good sources. So this one sounded like it was pretty good. Well, Daryl Morey wants, from Portland, 3 first-round picks, 3 swaps, and C.J. McCollum for the services of Ben Simmons and his contract. I think everybody who watches my channel or has even seen me talk about Ben Simmons for longer than 3 minutes knows that this is laughable. It's funny, but it's not funny. It's not funny because this is a serious matter. This is a serious matter, Daryl. This is a serious matter, Philadelphia ownership. This isn't small. The whole world is watching you. And you're going to sit here and put a price tag like that on a salary dump. Are you trying to move him or not? Or are you just trying to further piss him off and continue engaging in this ridiculous circus? I've been blasting the Philadelphia front office a little bit now since this whole thing broke. Because my point of view is Ben Simmons, quite frankly, isn't behaving maturely or like someone who has his head together right now. He seems like he's going through something, or it appears that he's willing to make irrational decisions to get out of there. That's concerning and troubling to me, because I understand that he's dealing with mental hurdles in regards to stuff that's going on the court, with him missing shots, not taking shots, etc. So I look at this as a mental health situation, and I look at this as Philadelphia being the entity in place that has the power in the situation to understand not only the kids' circumstances, because they've had them in their facilities for the last 6 years or more, but to understand that this is going to ruin other aspects of their situation as well, putting other people's jobs on hold or giving them less tools to do their job so that they can continue to embark on this ridiculous engagement with this kid. And I understand the sentiment of those, and I've said this many times, those who are saying, hey, you can't let him walk out the door because it sets a precedent for other players. But newsflash, ladies and gentlemen, we are not dealing with other players. We're dealing with somebody who has some very specific things going on right now, none of which are rational to anybody who's paying attention. So why in the hell are you treating him like other players when you know damn well other players don't do this? And then I look at Philadelphia 76ers organization, and I look at how certain other players have had mental health issues there, or what appeared to be mental health issues to me. Situations where they didn't get the help that they needed, got shipped out of there for reasons that didn't make sense. It's all documented. Talk about the Allen Iverson situation that's been going around lately, that Allen Iverson doesn't have any ties to the organization, doesn't have a job with the organization, has never been offered one. Stuff like that. I mean, I don't know, but it's like, it doesn't add up to positive things. It doesn't add up to you feeling real good about the organization. I look at the track record of the players that come in and out of there, as I said. Some of the young players that didn't develop or didn't develop properly until they left there. We're so happy to get out of there. Even though they're a winning organization, a guy like Jimmy Butler was happy to get the hell out of there. Why? At some point in time, we got to stop looking at the situation and pinpointing only this specific situation. You want to say Ben Simmons is mad because this, that, and the third, and all of that is his fault. Cool. I see that. Now slide that aside. What else could he possibly be mad at? Could he be mad about how the last 6-7 years of his career has gone? Because even though he's done all this good and found a way to do this, he still gets scrutinized, still gets booed, and then still has situations like this where he's come to you with several legitimate reasons that have been reported for why he wants out of there, that don't all have to do with his emotional state of mind, but has more to do with the fit and your lack of being able to put that fit in place for him to succeed. And I look at the Joel Embiid side aspect of it. It's on the side. Why is Joel Embiid on the side? Why are you prioritizing a fight with a kid that doesn't play with you anymore over that of a super duper star that's on path to be one of the greatest players you've ever had in uniform? He's here. He's your A1. But you're prioritizing a tit for tat with someone who doesn't want to be there. And nobody, and I say nobody respectfully because I ain't heard everybody, but nobody seems to be saying this. Everybody wants to point at the kid. Yes, the kid has a lot wrong with him right now. He's doing a lot of stuff that we don't want him to do. Stuff that doesn't help his future, stuff that doesn't help Philadelphia organization, stuff that doesn't help the NBA as a whole right now. Only helps the media. People like myself want to talk about it. He ain't doing no one else no favors. They want to engage in that situation instead of making sure that Joel Embiid has what he needs to succeed for this season. I'm sorry. I've gone on record more than once over the last week and said, I think Joel Embiid needs to request a trade out of there right now. Right now. And he ain't going to have a problem getting out of there because he's going to have a contract that people actually want. Not a team in the league is going to say, well, let me think about this. I don't know if I want to bring Joel in. Even if they have a center, they want to bring Joel in. So at this point in time, if I'm him, I understand that I move the tide of the championship here. I am why they are what they are. The rest of the players on this team are really good. They're putting together good players. I like them. But I move this ship. Even if Ben Simmons comes back, I move this ship. And they're prioritizing not Ben Simmons' needs, but a fight with Ben Simmons when he said he's done with him. He said he's done with him. That's the elephant in the room. You could dock him all his pay. You could try to force him to come back. Do you know how embarrassing he's going to potentially make himself look if he has to tuck his tail between his legs and put that uniform back on? He may go out there and not even run. They may check him into the game and he may sit down in the middle of the stadium and just look around while people running back and forth. That's how ugly this could get if he really wants to take it there. And you're going to literally force him into taking this position with you guys. And see, here's the part that I think gets lost in translation. Is Ben Simmons worth the contract that he has? Not in the minds of a lot of people right now. That contract is too high for what it is he brings to the table. But he's an athlete who was offered a contract and he signed it. Why? Because somebody outside of himself thought he was worth that. Elephant in the room. It wasn't his idea to give himself the contract. So whether it was not something that he should have signed based on the fact that he was going to be unhappy and wanted to get out of there the next summer, or not, is irrelevant because the franchise, the ownership gave him that contract. So any notion that he should be giving it back to them because he's unhappy and wants out of a toxic environment is laughable and disrespectful to me. Honestly. Because if you consider what it is that he is, he's not being gifted a contract. This contract represents what he brings to the table. And I think that gets lost. We're like, oh, these spoiled athletes. And spoiled athletes. Go out there and do what they can do. Go out there and put up the numbers they do and then deal with the scrutiny afterwards that they do. And then tell me if they're worth the money. Tell me if you can get the amount of people to pay attention to you. Don't run around, play basketball. See if you can gain organizations billions of dollars off of your services to their team. You can't, because you are not them. You're not worth what they're worth because you don't bring to the table what they bring. You don't bring the revenue that they bring. Ben Simmons can stand alone and bring the revenue that he brings to the Philadelphia 76ers to another organization as well. He'll be worth that contract to them as well if he played up to it. It's not a gift. It's not some manna from the sky that he was blessed with. That came in the form of the talent. The money represents paying for that talent. So that needs to be clear amongst all of us. Because I've been hearing a lot about, oh, these spoiled athletes. No. Who's spoiled is the owners who are able to make 10 times that amount off of these athletes while they're sitting in a chair watching them run around. They are the ones who are getting the most benefit out of this situation. And a lot of times we sit in this situation and forget that. They give people who've never run a shot of basketball in their life the trophy before they give it to the guys who are sweating because of who represents the money. I ain't never seen none of them shoot a basketball. Them owners, the only one shooting a basketball is Michael Jordan. But somehow the players who run around sweat and put their livelihoods on the line and only have a small amount of time to be who it is that they're going to be before they end up back into the regular world like the rest of us, with whatever they can, make off of being there. Things that their body and their game and their skills and their work ethic put them in a position to own, to have. That value is represented within who they are and what they've brought to that table. And what they've proven they can do for organizations that believe in them. So no, I don't. I'm tired of this narrative that players, athletes of whatever color, need to be thankful for the contracts that they have, as if they weren't able to represent that value or something close to it that would put them in the mix to be a part of that market. Because if I walk in there and say I can play basketball, they ain't giving me a dime. And I can sweat out there all day. It ain't going to matter. So that's what it comes down to for me. I just want to make that very clear, why I'm so much on the side of the player, even though I know he's making some decisions that are irrational and flat out wrong. He needs to find himself and figure this out and then make right the wrongs that he's done in this era. He needs to do that. Because he's leaving some people out to dry for his own exodus from this toxic situation. When I could argue that's probably the wrong move for him. And that's probably the wrong move for everybody else too, that's affected by what it is that he's choosing to do. But he's doing it anyway, and that's how far they've pushed him. That's how far they've pushed him. Now, you can say he has that type of threshold because he's spoiled. That's how they spoiled him. They spoiled him. Whatever he's become is because he came into their facility fresh out of LSU, and they made him that, or they allowed him to stay the way that he was when he got there. Either way, they didn't do their part to make sure that this didn't happen. And as I've said before, with this specific player, Ben Simmons, when he asked you to put people around him that fit, it's not because he's spoiled and he has some demands that ultimately need to be met and he has value or leverage over the next player. No, it's because he literally, because of his skill set and because of his shortcomings, cannot play with everyone. So this conversation I've been hearing about, oh, Ben Simmons is demanding a fit, and we put players around him, I respect that. I respect that. But obviously it was not enough. Wasn't enough. He needed more shooting. He needed a fit that was built around him. Not built around him and Joel Embiid, because that doesn't necessarily fit in and of itself. Unless you bring something else into it that makes it come together, as I've mentioned many times. But them two, in a nutshell, they don't fit. Joel's too slow. Ben Simmons is a full court, open court facilitator and a defensive prowess guy. He's going to be someone who's probably best in full speed situations. Joel Embiid can run, but not like that. You want him around speedsters who can shoot in transition. That's the type of situation you want Ben Simmons in. And he understands himself. He knows his limitations. He knows he's not stretching the floor. He can't play with everybody. You can't bring in Josh Richardson and think it's going to work out. If Josh can't shoot, it's going to be a problem. And it's just like, stop getting on the man for asking for a fit. It's not like he's Paul George who can play with anyone, but demanding a fit of someone to fit him. You know what I mean? Not to say Paul's ever done that, because he hasn't. But I'm saying a player of his caliber of play should be able to play with anyone. So if he were to demand players to come and fit him, it looks away. But not Ben Simmons. Ben can't play with everybody. So, after all this, I still believe that the best trade out there for Ben Simmons is John Wall, for a plethora of reasons I'm not going to get into, but it helps both sides if they just do this. But Daryl Morey obviously has a different idea, or the ownership above him has a different idea of what they want to do right now. And what they want to do is continue to engage in this petty back and forth with Ben Simmons. They're getting off on it, I guess. They feel like, yeah, my guys are, everybody's watching us, and we're not going to let him do that. You guys are idiots. And it's all tumbling down. That's what's going to happen. Joel Embiid's sitting there watching you guys pat each other on the backs for this silly bull crap. And he's going to get out of there the first opportunity he gets. And Tobias Harris is going to leave. GM Daryl Morey is going to leave. Doc Rivers is going to leave. One by one. I'm saying a mass exodus is coming from Philadelphia because they're engaging in bullcrap for reasons that don't amount to winning. And they got two Pantheon great players on tab, and neither one of them should probably want to be there. One of them's demanding out, and they refuse to let him go because they can. Not because it's right, because they have a right. I'm over the Philadelphia 76ers organization as a whole. as an NBA fan and watching them from afar, and how they've botched all these different players' careers, how they messed up the Mikal Bridges mom situation, how they did all these different things. I'm over them. I like the fans. Fans don't have nothing to do with this. I like the players. Players don't have nothing to do with this. I like Daryl Morey. He doesn't have the power he needs to be able to make the decisions he probably would like to make. It's about ownership. It ain't Elton Brand. It's ownership. They're engaging in bullcrap right now for reasons that do not benefit players and do not benefit fans. And they've been doing this since the beginning. They did the same thing with the process. And they sold that on you fans and told you fans that was a good decision. And it still ain't even amounted to a championship. Just a lot of losing. And a lot of players coming there and being worse when they've left. I'm over it. Somebody needs to start talking about it for real. They're one of the worst. My name is BDF44. Bless Ben Simmons and everybody involved. I don't have no malice in my heart. I ain't angry. But when I see something wrong like this, I'm going to speak on it, especially if it pertains to something I'm passionate about, like the league. And when it comes to these players, the media, they're paid to have agendas of certain kind. They're not necessarily paid to see the field and see it as something that needs to be done correctly. I'm in a position where I'm not being paid by anyone, and I don't have any agenda. I just want to see what I want to see. So, that's that. My name is BDF44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.